check it out. My name is Miguel, and you know I got soul.
All right, Miguel, so first up, I just want to talk to you about your BET Award nomination. You were just nominated. How did that make you feel?
Man, it felt great. Being nominated. BET Awards nominated this year for Best New Artist. It was just an honor. Actually, last year I couldn't get tickets to the BET Awards, so just to get invited was amazing.
Cool. I want to talk now about your #1 single, Sure Thing. I was reading that the song was recorded many years earlier. It kind of leaked a few years back. I was wondering, can you give me the origin of that song and if you really expected it to do much after it, it kind of leaked and all that?
Absolutely. Well, Sure Thing I wrote as a definition to what real love or true love felt like to me, and it was a way for me to remind myself if I ever forgot, or so I would never take advantage of it or take it for granted the next time. And it did it got posted on MySpace and just really got a lot of attention. And interesting, it's a song that really convinced Mark Pitts at Bystorm Jive to sign me as an artist. And now that it's on the radio, it's just cool to know that the music stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Because it's a dated record for me, but a lot of people are just discovering it. It's become something that's special to them. So I take that. I hold that to a high esteem.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Cool. The debut album's been out about a little over 6 months now, so how happy are you with the way the fans received it, everything that's going on since the release? Talk about that.
Yeah, the album, All I Want Is You, has been out since November 30th, and it's been, a gradual build, and people are discovering me most of the word of mouth, which is phenomenal. I think it's the best kind of marketing that you can't buy. So I'm just excited that the music is connecting with people and bringing them to shows like this one tonight.
Yeah, cool. And I know before you did the debut, you did a lot of writing for other artists, and you did a lot of writing on your debut as well. So talk about your process when writing a song.
I get all the way naked, and I have a flock of geese that I have lined up in a circle, and I have an order of how I want them to quack and whatnot. And that's how I get ready.
Okay.
It's just about being vulnerable, man. I just try and get to a place where I can be honest with myself, and with time I become more comfortable doing that in different areas. But I don't think there's any. I'm more comfortable, or most comfortable, at home, in my room, no one else there, and I can just let my thoughts kind of pour out.
Yeah.
And let the songs write themselves.
Cool. You were on Jive for a while before you had a chance to release your debut, and you were, writing for other artists and stuff like that. Was there a tough transition you had to go through, spending all that time writing for others and waiting your turn, or talk about that?
I think for me, being an artist is just about being creative. So I never really switched. There was no transition. It was just I was getting to be creative for other people, or with other people, as opposed to for myself. I never really had any there was no switch mentality or anything like that. I think it's all falls under the same creative umbrella.
Yeah, cool. I read that growing up, early on, and when you were making music, you tried to make music that was similar to Usher, and then eventually you gave that up, and then later on in your career, you had a chance to write for Usher on 2 of his albums. So, talk about what that experience was like.
Man, writing for Usher, or with Usher rather, was a great learning experience, and it really helped build the relationship to the point where he, invited us out on tour with him, and even now, he's a good friend of mine now. But it was all the practice that I had, writing songs or in the vein of Usher, that I think kind of prepared me to be able to do it seamlessly, when I had the chance to write with him.
Yeah.
And just creating with someone is a lot easier when you're in the same space and you're on the same vibe, when you're sharing ideas. And with him, it was really, really cool because he was so open about it. He just shared his ideas, and I was able to just kind of help him, plug it in, and so to speak. And I thank him for that.
Yeah.
He was really open about everything.
Yeah, cool. I love to hear the stories behind how songs come together. And another song you wrote, a personal favorite of mine, is "If You Leave" from Music Soul Child. How did that song come together? How did you get the chance to work with him?
"If You Leave" was written actually sometime after I had finished the majority of my album. I was working with Marvin and Ivan, who did his initial 2 albums. They wrote and produced, the majority of the material. And I was working with them, and they, were submitting songs for his newer album at the time. And I don't know, they just put on some music, and the song just the first verse came out, and I wrote itself. And Marvin and I went back and forth, and the song. That's pretty much how the song came about.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And I had read that you had already started on your next album. Is that still the case? How's that progressing along?
Man, I'm always working.
Yeah.
I'm always working on not necessarily the next album, but I'm just creating. We get to the point where it's time to put another album out. Hopefully, I have enough music to kind of put together and deliver a project. But I mean, I have an idea in mind as to what I want to accomplish with the next album, so I'm creating to see that vision through.
Yeah. All right. And with the success you had with your debut, do you feel like that's put you more in demand? Artists are coming to you for collaborations. Artists are coming to you to write for them. And just tell me who you're working with currently as well.
I mean, since putting out All I Want Is You, I've definitely had a lot more opportunities and more opportunities to build personally with the artist and to create on a more personal level. Where we're creating at the same time in the same room, as opposed to I'm writing something for them on my own and trying to shoot in the dark as to what their direction is or what they want to hear. It's been more common now where I can sit with the artist and really pick their brain and get into their head and try and create something that is an honest projection of who they are and what they want to say. So that's been I think the coolest part about putting out the album when it comes to collaborating with other artists.
Okay. And just one last question, having the success you've had so far and having the chance to work with more artists and just keep growing in the industry, do you feel your sound is progressing as well as an artist, or do you feel you're growing musically? Talk about that.
Absolutely. I think I'm growing as a person.
Okay.
And I think music is supposed to mirror life. And so I've always been, when it comes to music, I've always been very open-minded. So I'm not saying there's anything different now when it comes to my taste in music. It's just I think more what I want to discuss, and the topics are things that are important to me now.
Yeah.
What's important to say or messages I feel I need to get across. I think that's where I feel like I've done the most growing lately.
Yeah.
And even though the next album is going to sound completely different from this one, I don't think that's new to me. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to do something different. Because I think every album should sound different from the last.
Yeah.
My album.
Alright, cool. And anything you'd like to add?
The only thing I always like to add at the end of any chance I get to speak to